hello. Hello, hello, hello. All right. Welcome to the live channel. The live stream, as they call it these days. Okay, so today we're going to be doing some pretty interesting stuff. I wanted to share this interesting thing that I have been coding recently. So for those that may be unaware, I went on a little bit of a bicycle trip recently, and let me see if I can pull something up for you guys. And it looked a little bit, let me pull this up first. It looked a little bit something like, okay. All right, so this is my YouTube channel. I went on a little bit of a cycling trip. Here are the videos. I can go to the playlist now. So I had this Bikepacking Challenge 1. You can see the playlist. So basically what I did is I started in Toronto and I cycled all the way to Oshawa. And the series is not over yet, and my final goal is to end up in Sandbank, so we'll see what ends up happening. Well, it might be a bit of a spoiler today, but basically, I built, so after this video, which is like my getting ready for the trip video, I like edited this one, but I built, there's gonna be way too many things going on here. I built, okay, right. Ready for it? So using code.
You don't have to go far.
Yeah, this is fine. I'm getting paid for these. I built these overlays. So this 6 kilometers an hour thing, the elevation, the heart rate, and then at the top you have how far I've gone. I'll just mute it. And then you have like the speed, and then on this side here you have the map. So using the help of my good friend ChatGPT, I was able to kind of build these out. So now in this video, in the most recent video, which I uploaded yesterday, there are overlays. It looks pretty freaking awesome. And anyway, I'm pretty proud of it. The only thing that's kind of weird about these videos is the quality is like not nearly as good as I think it should be. I don't really know why. Like I did have the render mode set to like render in good detail. So anyway, I need to figure out my render settings a little bit more, I think. So let me compare the raw footage. Hold on. Because this is actually a good experiment. I can do this right now without causing too many problems. So let me see, is there anything here? No, nothing here. I don't mind showing you guys. So this is my editing thing. Whoa, baby. It is not used to being over there. So if we go full screen and then we press play, like, is it just me or does this look a lot cleaner? Like if I go back to the section I was at before, like right here pretty much, like this versus, and I know YouTube has compression, but this is like a pretty significant difference to me. Yeah, look at like the picture, these blue lines are so much clearer. This blue line is like, what is going on here? Okay, I really need to figure this out because yeah, that is kind of annoying me. I think these are almost the same spot now. Like it's so much clearer on, and when I go to compare this, you guys will probably, yeah, like what the hell? There's like two completely different things. And this is set to HD, so anyway, that's something I gotta figure out, so I don't know why I'm bothering you guys with that. But I guess I could just like render this in like the highest quality possible. So it is what it is. And I'm gonna look into that. I'm gonna add that to my like after stream list. I'm gonna render just like small parts. try to get the quality the same as the input video. Upload to YouTube to see compression, because YouTube does have some compression, but also like, I don't know, it shouldn't be that bad. Like if it's like, this is honestly because of like how, I guess the point of these videos, like the detail does kind of have to be there. And honestly, these have like so few views that I might just re-upload all of them. If the quality is a little bit better, because yeah, like this is not the end goal that I was going for at all. Anywho, okay, so that is a different topic. What I wanted to talk about was the overlays, because I think those are pretty cool. So I built those overlays with the help of AI. So I didn't build them myself, because as mentioned in a previous stream, I am not that good of a coder, but it's pretty awesome. And I even put in the description, like, I built the overlays myself. If you might be interested in buying something similar, then let me know. Because I was thinking, hey, you know, I went through the trouble to build this out. Maybe I can sell it for something cheap, like $5 or $10, right? And once I add more features, I add more overlays, I add more stuff to it, then maybe I can start selling it for a little bit more. So that was my thinking with that. And so I just wanted to kind of show the progress on that, because I do have at least one more video coming in the series, and I just wanted to kind of like show you guys how it works, because I think it's pretty cool. So I have this thing, which is the Solar Instinct 2 Garmin, and I think I can show this without doxing myself. Yeah. So this is the activity for the next video that I did. So you can see, like, here's Oshawa. We kind of went this way, and then we went back a little bit. So I thought this was kind of cool. And there's a few pauses here and there, and this is all like over the span of 4-ish hours, but this is like the full day thing. In my previous videos, like, I kind of chopped it up based on like how long each event was. So this one's like 4 hours, whatever. But what you can do is you can go here, and then you can export file, and it downloads this thing called a .fit file. So I'm just going to extract it. Extract. I can show it to you guys. So it downloads this thing called whatever.fit, and then what we can do is I can move it into the correct folder where I'm coding things. Boom. All right. And then over here, I have like a script that runs this run overlays.sh. It's a bash script, and it basically runs all of this code that ChatGPT helped me code. So I have like a few folders here. I have all the different overlays. So we have an altitude overlay, a distance overlay, a heart rate, a map, and a speedometer overlay. These ones were like trial runs, so those I haven't done yet, or haven't like updated or dealt with yet, which is fine. And these are kind of other files that were just like suggested by ChatGPT to be put in. And I have yet to try Cursor. I just learned yesterday about Cursor, which is this like really awesome coding tool that you can use, which lets you basically integrate it into VS Code. On the side here, you can have a little chatbot going, and it can even directly edit files, which is like pretty awesome. So I'm going to try to use Cursor going forward to develop this. But what I wanted to do is I just wanted to like run this on the new file that I added, just to kind of show you guys how it works. So what I have it doing right now is I have it converting the very specific activities that I want to turn into overlays into this CSV file. And then from the CSV file, I have it pull the data and then run it and generate all the overlays. one problem that I sort of ran into while doing this was that I would pause my activity a lot on the watch. So like while I was out running or whatever, if I wanted to like take a break to eat, I would pause the activity. So I would have this like block of time where like nothing would happen, but there might still be videos. And when I was trying to sync up the various videos that I took on the DJI, what would happen is, um, so when I was trying to sync up the various videos on the DJI, what would happen is that I would, sorry, I thought I saw something on the lens there. I was like, what the heck? So I would try to sync up the videos on the DJI, but what would happen is like I wouldn't be able to tell when I pressed like play on the DJI and when the overlays were like generated. So I wanted there to be like a linear amount of time. So like if I was out from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m., I want the overlays to be like 12 hours, and then I can slot in the various video clips based on the time codes that are saved in here. So it makes it really easy to line up the footage. So I wanted to have that capability. So when I pull the data from the .fit file, I make sure like if there is dead space in between, I just make it generate like a whole line of zeros to just fill out that space. I don't know if that's the best way to do it, but that's the way I've been doing it. So yeah, I'm gonna run this just on the new file here, and to see. Run over just to show you guys how it works. Run overlays dot. I think I can just do that. .sh. Enter the name of your file. So let me just do this. Get the whole thing. Boom. .fit. So this is fine. I'm using H.264 encoding, and it runs this error from time to time, but that's okay. It doesn't actually seem to be causing any issues, but I think this is probably something that I should consider for the other people that might be using this if I do end up either open sourcing it or selling it. So let's see. Distance progress bar video saved. Okay, so first video saved. I think I probably want like some indicator of how much. Oh, you guys can't even see this. What am I doing? Okay, sorry. So what I did just now is I ran the bash script, the run overlays.sh using this command. And now it asked me like, what's the name of your file? So I went over here, I copied the name of the file, I stuck it in there, and now it's processing the file, and it's going through everything in here. So it's running it's parsing the file first, and then it does the distance overlay first, and it looks like that we just completed the distance overlay. And there no such file or directory. Cycling overlay. Oh man, I totally screwed up the name. Okay, hold on. That's cool. Okay, so we're gonna have to redo that one. Running heart rate overlay. Okay, so it screwed up that one, but it did generate the where was it? The distance overlay video. So let me go ahead and show you where that would end up. So the generated files end up in this output folder, and you can see this distance progress bar overlay. So on this day, we went 41 kilometers. Did I go 41 kilometers? That seems wrong. Hold on. Was it really 41 kilometers exactly? Because that was the distance that I went that other day. No, it's 53. Okay, something's wrong here. Oh, you know what? I don't know that it generated, like it should have generated the right fit file, because it like ran the parser. Yeah, like it did run the parser, so I'm a little bit confused about what ended up happening. Okay, well, it looks like I'm just going to kill it here because it looks like it is not doing what it's supposed to be doing for some reason. So we're going to just kill these. So what it's supposed to do is run this parser file and then create this. Now this is still August 8th, but I believe this was on August 9th. So for some reason it did not actually generate that. Now let's see what happened. Last error, fit file that gets messages for record and given as record. String attribute has no attribute get messages. So then it just started to run overlay. Line 32 in fit parser. What did I put in fit parser? For record in fit file. So this was a hard-coded fit file, but everything else is the same, no? Passing fit file via run overlays bash script, which we did, which is fine. It's the same as that. Like it's doing the same thing as that, so I don't see why that would be an issue. And then everything after that is the same, I think. Fit file dot get messages record. I'm not sure what's going on there. So we're creating like each iteration is a record, and then we're getting the timestamp, but it's giving me an error here. I don't think you need, do you need colons for for loops in Python? I thought that wasn't necessary. I guess, okay, maybe it is. I don't remember. For record in string object has no attribute get messages. Okay, so there's an issue here. Okay, so what are we doing? We're saving to fit file this here. Gets saved to that, which is fine. And then what we're trying to do is from the file, I don't know what get messages does. Go to no definition found. No definition found. Right. Okay, what's weird though is if I what if I hard code this? Because, okay, so there's a library called fit parse. Oh wait, we're not doing that, are we? Fit file, and then, oh, we never actually use the function, like the fit file function. So what I think we need is, so we get fit file, let's say get fit file, and then this is get fit file, and then fit file equals get fit file. This is really confusing, but this should work. There we go. Okay. So now it's doing the same thing. So we're getting the file, we're just printing something, and then we are using the fit file function on the file that we got in order to tell the thing it's a fit file. And then once we have it, we can use this function, or the method, get messages method. Okay, let me see, maybe that'll work. All right, let's run this, run it back. Run overlays, enter the name. Boop. Processing. Okay, we go to output. Yay, okay, it looks like it worked. So that fixed it. So we're running overlays, and now when the overlays generate, it should pop out what I'm looking for. Good to know. I know just enough coding to troubleshoot this myself. Incorrect library version. Yeah, there's still a lot of like little things I will have to deal with when generating this code. I'm just going to wait for it to generate the first one, and then I'll kind of let it run in the background, and then we can revisit it at the end. Another problem sort of that I've been having, generated 43,000 frames. Oh joy, right, I forgot about this. So the way it goes is, okay, distance overlay done, and now we're generating the speedometer. And then the error again for the codec, but this is fine. So the speedometer has, it kind of gives you updates as it's going. So the issue, okay, a few problems. One is that I have it every single time regenerate every single frame. It's a really low FPS, so it's 2 frames per second. It could probably actually be 0.5 frames per second or 1 frame every 2 seconds, but because of the inconsistency of how my watch records it, I found this to be like the best middle ground. But instead of having it generate each and every frame, what I think I need to do is create like a big file or a big folder that has each and every possible frame already created, and then it basically will just create a run order of how to compile those into a video. So like if I have, say, 5 seconds of footage and it goes 19 kilometers or miles per hour, 20 miles per hour, 25 miles per hour, 19 miles per hour, 20 miles per hour, then I already have the frame generated for each and every one of those. And the program will just be like, okay, I want to use this file, this file, this file, this file, this file in this order, and then just runs that. Supposedly that is much faster than this. As you can see, this is pretty slow. Like I could probably keep talking here for a couple of minutes. Like this takes minutes when it should probably take seconds. But it's a good kind of, I guess, proof of concept because I was able to actually make them. And then the other, like, I guess, like final part that to consider is how you use it in the editing software. So this was the other problem that I was going to bring up is once you have the output, you have the black background. So the output doesn't actually output on a transparent background. So what I've been doing in my editing software for each overlay, see if I can show you guys this. For each overlay, I decompose these. So each overlay or each thing is like a composition clip of like all the overlays individually. And what I have to do is I have to go to the composition mode. Which one is this? Grade. Okay. So this one is the little 79 meter number. To go to the composition mode and update it, actually I also did a fusion. So in here you have a luma keyer. So this thing basically removes the black background. So if I turn this up, where'd it go? Why is it not showing what I wanted to show you? Edit. Hello. Okay, you just have to trust me, I guess. I don't know why it's doing that. Maybe I've just edited it so much now that it can't like it won't go backwards. Like these are different. So this one, the progress bar has like a hard light composite mode. And maybe this one will be a little bit better. So the progress bar is at the top. So you can see as I go through these different composite modes, it kind of like changes the way that the light shines through it. So that was kind of a problem that I ran into. Then we have the luma keyer again. I think this is just on like the wrong frame for some reason. So if I go here, this one actually has 2 keys, but like the luma keyer is a more important one. Okay, so in this case, if you like max out the luminance on that end, then it gets a little brighter or whatever. Anyway, you guys didn't even see that because my face is covering it. Anyway, point is, I have to do some manipulation in the editing software, which I don't know that people will want to do that. So I was thinking I could actually just like make my own editing software where you throw your video in and then it burns in these overlays. But that seems really complicated and I don't know how to do that. And I think that would take much longer than just having these get generated and writing like a couple instructions telling people how to remove it in Photoshop, Premiere, or whatever. So, yeah. Anyway, I thought that was kind of interesting. Let's see. Yeah, this speedometer thing's going to take forever. So while that's doing that, we'll come back to it at some point. I wanted to move on to something else. Let me just move this back over here. It can go in there. Oh, my bitrate is very unstable apparently. Well, hopefully the stream is still live. Let me refresh. Can't even see it on Twitch. I think I have like too many things running. Like I can't really have my editing software open at the same time as my stream. It's just like too much for it to handle. The code running, I mean, it's probably taking up some graphical resources. Let's take a look at Task Manager. No, mostly Google Chrome. Google Chrome's taking up a bunch of memory. OBS is taking most of the GPU. VS Code, honestly, is not taking up much. It's taking up a little bit of memory. Although there was one of these that when you run it, that takes up a ton of memory. Having network errors now. Network seems okay. Weird. Okay. I will continue going on. It looks like it's improved now. Like I'm seeing 10 megabits per second, so I think we're good. All right. Can't wait for the day when I can get the fastest internet available. Maybe that's a worthy investment. I don't know. All right. Now that that's done, let's move on. Oh my God, why does it do that? There we go. Toronto business allowed in residential areas. Okay, so there is something really awesome that Toronto has been doing. They have started to allow basically people, which is something that I wrote about. Okay, let me put this together. We go allrifoot.ca, and then let's find the article. Which one would it be? I don't actually remember. Why are people leaving? Under investment, rethinking zoning bylaws. I wrote this in 2023. Goddamn. Okay. Okay. Yeah, keep different categories of real estate separate. I don't know, miles away from any shops, recreations, or places of work. Yeah. Highlight. Doesn't encourage livability, walkability, cycling, and turns things into bedroom communities. Fellow neighbor tried at some point to apply a permit to operate a sole proprietorship. The application was eventually turned down as the neighbors were notified. Yeah. Why do we disallow minimally disturbing business to be operated out of garages? Effectively destroyed small businesses in our suburbs and near cities, zoning restrictions, blah, blah, blah. Replace them with big box stores, fast food chains, and other restaurants. Yeah, okay. So that is basically what I want to talk about. All right. Let's just make this into a little video. Let me just go through and highlight the important things here. It's proposed on major streets. On major streets, proposed changes would allow a wide range of options, including small stores, cafes, medical office, after-school programs, cleaners, barbers, and professional offices. Allow. In the interior of neighborhoods, off major streets, permission will be limited to small. Off the major streets, there's a small retail store option, cafe within the store. Permitted on corner lots, next to schools, parks, or commercial sites. Home-based businesses. Updated permissions that allow home-based businesses to hire up to 2 employees, operate from detached garages, laneway buildings, and depending on the business, see clients on site. Help more residents start or grow a business from home. Garbage should be stored indoors, limiting most businesses to the ground floor. Size limits. Retail and service establishments in neighborhoods. From 1989 to 2019, 30 years later, there's a negative 34% change. Increase walkability and sustainability, short distance of their home, walk, roll, cycle, reduce car dependence, and in cleaner environment. True. Study process, phase 3, consultations. All right. Cool. Don't need to worry about that. Or that. Examples include small grocery and convenience stores. Our official plan notes that small scale you support daily life, encourage complete connect communities. Yeah. Small grocery stores, convenience, dry cleaners, blah, 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 blah. Tailor, home offices, and community gathering spaces. Yeah. These uses in neighborhoods are typically found in 1 to 3 story buildings, with often residential uses in the same building above, beside, or behind the commercial use. Often found in small plazas without residential permissions, as well as some standalone stores. Throughout Toronto, some of these uses can be found in home-based businesses. Blah, blah, blah. Neighborhoods occupy approximately 35.4% of the city's land area, the most of any land use designation. Cool. All right. Take the survey. I will open that up just to get people interested to take it. Okay. Let's make a video out of this. So recently, the city of Toronto did something that I think is pretty awesome, and I only heard about it because of this news article. But so recently, the city of Toronto is updating its zoning bylaws in order to allow more small businesses to operate inside of neighborhoods and on major streets. And I think this is a very, very needed change, because it always blew my mind, and I wrote about this in an article that I wrote a couple years ago now, that that you can. Oh my god, fuck! It always blew my mind that, like, if you wanted to, for some reason, like, I don't know, sell bagels to your neighbors from your garage, that you weren't allowed to do that for some crazy reason. Or that, like, you know, if you wanted to, like, have a little cafe, or you wanted to, like, start a business where you, like, repair people's bicycles or sharpen people's skates so that they can go skating next to the skating rink. Like, all these things, technically, because you're running a business out of your home, were illegal, which is fucking crazy. Excuse my French, which is completely insane. And thankfully, somebody has decided to do something about this. So I learned about this from this news article here from City News. Toronto zoning changes to aim at making opening small businesses in neighborhoods easier. And I went to the official City of Toronto website, and they have a survey that you can take and provide your input on this local retail, they're calling it, which is pretty cool. I think this is an amazing idea. And we're in phase 3, additional consultation to refine the zoning bylaw amendment. So it looks like they're pretty far into the process already, which is awesome. But just to give some major highlights of what they're proposing. So on major streets, the proposed changes would allow a wide range of options, including small stores, cafes, medical offices, after-school programs, cleaners, barbers, and professional offices. On the interior of neighborhoods, permissions will be limited to small retail store with the option for a cafe within the store. I think the limit was like 1,200 square feet or so. And the limit on major streets, like without needing too much of like a permit, was I think about 2,000 square feet, or maybe it depended on the type of business. I don't entirely remember. For home-based businesses, you can hire up to 2 employees from a detached garage, laneway, or other building, depending on the type of business, and you can see clients on site. So this would be like those little like bicycle repair shops where we have like 1 or 2 people working. You might want to operate like out of a garage or a laneway. So those, again, pretty awesome. It's help more residents start or grow a business from home. And diverse or minimizing impacts, yada yada. But basically, they're saying the reason they've decided to do this is because, one, most of the city's land, 35.4%, is neighborhood land use designations, which is like there have been about a zillion videos made about why land use like designations are kind of silly, or why they are very, let's say, overly restrictive. Some examples inside the neighborhoods might include small grocery convenience stores, dry cleaner, cafe, medical services such as physiotherapy, personal services such as barber, tailor, as well as home offices and community gathering spaces. So I think that's pretty awesome. Encourages complete connected communities, contributing to amenities, sustainability, equity, diversity, and vitality. These are just buzzwords, but basically Like they say here, they want to improve neighborhood walkability and sustainability, which is a very good goal, especially in Toronto, where there's just too many cars and nowhere to put them. Uh, so bring goods and services that people need within a short distance of their home, allow them to walk, roll cycle, reduce car dependence, and contribute to a cleaner environment. And they put this nice little table in here. So in 1989, there were 2,137 retail establishments in neighborhoods. And keep in mind that Toronto has expanded and population has grown significantly since 2019, or sorry, since 1989. And we have seen a minus 34% change in retail and service establishments. So, and I doubt that this is because demand has dropped off that significantly. Sure, maybe Amazon ate into a lot of these businesses' business, but I think a lot of it probably does have to do with the fact that zoning bylaws became very restrictive, or at least not encouraging, where you're not working with the city, but you're fighting against the city. So amazing, amazing change. I really hope that that this, well, it is going to go through. It's just now a matter of how is it going to look when it goes through. And I think they're doing an awesome job. So I wanted to go to this. So this is my blog that I have been writing on for a while now. This one was one of the first like 4 articles that I wrote. This is from December 24th, 2023. And it's getting into almost December. It's August 2025. So we're almost 2 years ago since I wrote this article. And I built, why we need better city planning in North America. And this is like an old town square Europe photo, probably from Den Haag or something in the Netherlands. I don't remember. But there's some like awesome town squares, Newkirk and Oudkirk, if you guys know what I'm talking about. But yeah, it's somewhere there. So that's basically what I wrote 2 years ago. And I wrote how zoning bylaws have like ruined things, and because of cars, the overall idea was, the reason why zoning bylaws were put in the first place was that you don't have a noisy industrial shop next door to your peaceful residential street, and since everyone had a car, you can just drive to work, the store, and ironically the fitness center. Now we have swaths of home miles away from shops, recreation, or other places of work. It doesn't encourage sustainable living, walkability, or cycling, and effectively turns streets into bedroom communities. This is an especially big problem in the suburbs. I'm happy to see that Toronto is like doing this, and I think a lot of municipalities follow the lead of Toronto. So I do think that eventually this will come to various suburbs, hopefully reducing the amount of requirement for people to drive. Like if you're getting, and we're living in like an aging society too, where people, when you get to a certain age, like you can't drive anymore. And if you don't have shops nearby, you don't have your eye doctor nearby, you don't have your physiotherapist nearby, it can be a really, really big detractor to that person's quality of life. And I think it's insane that we have set up our society in such a way where if you're old, disabled, or whatever, and you don't own a car, you cannot own a car, you're kind of screwed, and it costs you so much more money in order to just exist. I think that's insane, and I don't think it should be that way. And that is pretty much what I talk about in this article. A fellow neighbor of my parents in Mississauga had tried at some point to apply for a permit to operate a massage business out of their home. The application was turned down because, as the law requires, neighbors were notified and they complained and basically said there would be too much traffic in the neighborhood, which is insane when, okay, sure, maybe there would be some traffic coming into the neighborhood, but I said again here, like at most, how many people would there be at the clinic? Maybe 2 or 3, right? So again, crazy that that got shut down. Why do we disallow minimally disturbing businesses to be operated out of garages? Boutique shops, novelty stores, used bookstores, small bakeries, bicycle repair shops, small fitness studios, video game or board game cafes. Could do a lot. People in the neighborhood could leave their cars at home, walk to their neighbor's house, pick up some bagels, do some yoga, grab some drinks or some coffee, and play board games in the evening. And yeah, talk about building a sense of community. If you know your neighbors and one of your neighbors is like running this nice little small business, it's just awesome and it's so different. Like we've effectively destroyed small businesses in suburbs and newer cities due to zoning restrictions and replaced them with big box stores, cars, and fast food chain restaurants. So that was kind of my rant when I wrote this article. And it seems as though Well, Toronto beat me to it. I actually had no idea this was happening. It seems, when did they start the first stage? In 2022. So they were ahead of me, but I had the same exact idea, and and that was before I was living in Toronto in 2022. So I was not frequenting the City of Toronto websites, but yeah, I just think this is an absolutely amazing idea. And I honestly, I keep getting surprised by these like really awesome things that Toronto is doing. And I'm becoming more and more of a fan every day of the improvements that Toronto is trying to make. And I think it's becoming like a city that I really do want to live in. Like when I left the suburbs, I wanted to move to the city because there's more jobs in the city, there's more opportunity in the city, there's more people in the city, there's more stuff to do. It's just like it's a cool place to be, right? But they're hitting all of these ideals that I have been championing for years, and I didn't even know it some of the time. So I think like my I align a lot with what they're trying to do in the city. So I think that's pretty awesome. But yeah, that pretty much covers it. Like I just wanted to shout that out really quickly because I think it's awesome, and I think that like I'm really excited to see what people do with their little businesses. This also improves the commercial rentability of spaces. Like maybe if you're renting out like one of your houses in the city, instead of renting out the garage as just a place to park a car, you can rent it out as a commercial space. You can rent it out for more. You could still make it relatively cheap. Like I've seen garages that are like $300 a month to park your car. I'd pay like $600 a month to set up my office in that garage, you know? So it actually improves, in my opinion, it improves the land value of that particular thing for the owners, for the landlords too. So I think everybody benefits from something like this. Um, and I really hope that that was kind of something that they thought about. It can go into detail, read it. You can check out the survey, um, and and you know, the more that I stay here, and the I'm very happy with my recent decision to sell my car. And I think if this goes through, and these little businesses start popping up all over the place in the next year or two, I am going to be absolutely thrilled. I am very excited to see what changes happen. So yeah, that's about it. Just want to shout that out. Check out the survey if you have a moment, and if you're from the city, if you have an opinion on it, and yeah, hopefully this goes through because I think it's pretty awesome. All right, just for the stream, I'm actually going to go through and do the survey. uh, phase 3. Conduct additional consultations. Surveys intended for community new to the project and those who shared value. Refresher to the key ideas. Blah 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 blah. Okay. From your home, what services are close enough that you can access them by a short walk, roller cycle, or other form of active transportation? Yes. There aren't really that many retail stores. Like I guess theoretically, not really. Like I wouldn't say it's short. I'd say it becomes like kind of far. Health services, like technically, but I don't really use them. Tutoring, yeah. Gyms, yeah, but they're not, I don't use those either. Pet cleaner, barber, technically I think there is a barber near me. There are very few professional offices though. And I'm going to leave this out because there aren't really that many retail stores near me. Like I wouldn't really call it a short walk. Like it's a decent walk and a decent bike ride. From your home, what stores would you like to have close enough? All of them. Honestly, specifically, yeah, like everything. If you selected any options above, please tell us why those services are important to you or what makes them easy or difficult to access today. I'm just going to say I think it would be amazing to rent out someone's garage and have, say, for example, a local dude that is able to fix my bicycle for me. I do have a bike shop within about a 15-minute bike ride, but getting there on requires using major roads without protected bike lanes, and I'd rather stick to the bike lanes and go somewhere a bit safer. What else is there? I also really think it would be awesome to allow a student to run a small tutoring business from their parents' garage, or do something like that. Garage, music classes, cleaners, barber, pet grooming, professional offices. Same goes for small professional offices. I think that there are a lot more sole proprietors these days who would like to have a physical location that clients can go to, but can go to / have an office that isn't in their home, but that doesn't require renting out 5,000 square feet of commercial space nearby. I think there, I also just, I don't know, this is not at all the question they're asking. If you selected any of them, please tell us why the services are important to you or what makes them easy, difficult to access today. What makes it difficult is honestly the bike lanes. There are grocery stores near me, but they are all somewhat expensive, and I wouldn't mind having more to choose from. But I'm not sure that this would. So this might help competition and bring prices down. Anything else? I also would like to see someone who does small fitness classes outdoors or in their backyard / garage, or even a tiny gym of some kind. Again, a tiny gym of some kind that might be well priced for the personal trainer to rent or the people to attend classes. The overhead wouldn't be as severe for them. I think, yeah. Okay. Those are my thoughts for now. Let's go next. Major streets of the wiser, busy roads, yada yada. Proposed by law would focus on new uses on major streets. Apartment buildings up to 6 stories, townhomes, and multiplexes are already permitted on the streets. Proposed zoning changes would allow small-scale retail, service, and office uses on the ground floor of these and other buildings. Major streets are chosen as the focus because sidewalks, transit, walking, blah, 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 bike lanes, opportunities to add additional housing. Please tell us your thoughts on focusing if you have any suggested changes. I like the idea of major streets, but as mentioned where I live, cycling infrastructure isn't quite up to par with much of downtown, so I would prefer to see more interior neighborhood uses rather than requiring me to go to a major street at all. Yeah. But generally, I think having more choice near transit and major streets is not a bad thing at all. Proposed bylaws would allow the following small-scale uses on major streets. What is your view on these uses? What are your thoughts of proposed uses? Any suggested changes? I think these are all good options. I don't know. I think this is a great list. I would publishing too specific of a list and trying to build in some flexibility for uses that maybe aren't thought of but would not cause a huge nuisance to neighbors or other businesses. Dining, health, community, cultural, or other retail stores, groceries. Yeah, professional offices. I mean, I don't really know what else there is in this world. I think that covers most of it. Okay. On the interior streets, the proposed ballot would allow small retail stores besides existing gathering places, as well as on corner sites. Some residents were concerned it's created too many opportunities, particularly on corner sites in response. Considering an edit that would limit retail uses to only those corner sites that are wider, biddier, minor retail and collector stores still permitted next to existing gathering places. They also show the major streets that border the neighborhood and residents and parcels on those streets. Retail permitted on any site. That's what I think. Some more about thoughts on retail locations. I think having retail locations inside a neighborhood isn't particularly an issue. An issue would probably have small volumes, traffic. I don't know. I also think it would be reasonable to limit their business hours to only operate, to limit their business hours to make sure that traffic, limit their business hours to something reasonable, like, I don't know, 7 a.m. to 11 p.m. rather than preventing them from setting up. I don't know. I think cars are the problem, but I don't know. Because everything is centered around, how do we get so funny. Like the same people are like, "Oh, I don't like traffic in my neighborhood," are the same people that will only drive a car. It's like you are the problem. uh, I think the same people who complain about traffic going through their neighborhood, same people who will drive their car to these stores, which I guess makes sense from their POV, but I think, I don't know. I actually do kind of understand this concern because cars do kind of suck ass. All right. I don't know. I'm just going to leave it at that. On interior streets, proposed bylaw change would allow small retail stores and a small cafe within the store. Would have allowed retail stores to include the following options: takeout cafe, small sit-down cafe, small outdoor patio, the front or side of the store but not in the backyard. During meetings, some residents expressed concerns that patios might disrupt residential streets. God damn, have some fucking fun. Like, don't edit it. It's so reasonable. Mamma mia. Ay, caramba. Only allow retail store plus takeout snacks and drinks. Oh my god. What types of things, please? I think retail is fine. I think sit down, side patio, backyard patio is fine. I think takeout is fine. I think all of these uses are fine. I was in a random neighborhood in Queens, New York, and they had a small bar that was open until 2 a.m. just on a street corner. The music was limited to indoors. There were many patio seating outside, but even with the inebriated people, I think it added to the fun character of the neighborhood and made people more willing to go outside and meet their neighbors. I think all these uses are fine. I was in a random neighborhood in Queens, New York, and they maybe weren't going outside and meet their neighbors. I do understand that they may want quiet, but I'm sick of hearing people say, I like this, but just not here next to me. I think some of the best neighborhoods around the world have little surprises, and I can't imagine a few tables outside of a corner lot would be so disruptive to the neighborhood. I think I think these people need to get a life. No, I'm not gonna write that. Don't we want to see other people enjoying themselves and meeting with their friends? I'm very confused by this line of thinking that I don't know. This line of thinking that that other people are just out to disrupt, to maximally disrupt our lives. So we have to make a law to prevent them from meeting up. I don't know. Many patios. There were many patio seating. There were many patio seats outside. But even with the inebriated people, I found that everyone was respectful of neighbors and people absolutely loved going there regardless of age. I think it added to the fun character of the neighborhood. It made people more willing to go outside and meet their neighbors. I do understand that some people may want quiet. I shouldn't say I'm sick of hearing people say. I think the line of thinking that I like this but just not here is counter to having friendly neighborhoods. I think some of the best neighborhoods around the world have little surprise shops and cafes. Imagine a few tables outside a corner lot would be so disruptive to the neighborhood. I want to see other people enjoying themselves and meeting with their friends. I think the very people complaining about this now would likely be some of the most frequent users if something like this existed. Very confused by this line of thinking that other people are just out to maximally disrupt our lives, so we have to make a law to prevent them from doing so. I think the outdoor patios should 100% be allowed. People should have spaces to meet. That's all I will say on that. All right, I'm running out of thoughts. And I'm also running out of stream time. Okay. You guys are probably bored to hell. I don't think anyone is watching me. Oh, man. This is what I do in my free time. Yeah, nobody's watching this. Don't blame you. Don't blame you. All right. I'm going to call it there and do this offline and then go study because I have some things to study for. So thanks for dropping by. If you did, check out some other videos or streams. And also, oh my god, okay, Hollow Knight Silksong is coming out and I'm going to play it probably on stream. So I'm excited for that.